Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel, Hairlicious. If you guys are new, please make sure to subscribe so that you guys are updated on my second hair transplant journey in progress, as well as video topics covering current hair loss treatments. I actually just hit my month 7 since my last procedure, so as you guys can see, I'm very content with the overall progress. The hairline is just looking fantastic. The density is all there, and obviously I still have a few months left before the final results. So I'll probably do a video tomorrow updating you guys on my month 7, so please stay tuned for that. Also, make sure to visit my website at hairliciously.com to grab your microneedling device, which is scientifically proven to stimulate hair growth, my low-level laser therapy cap, DHT blocking shampoo and serum, vitamin supplements, and a few other products for those who are suffering from hair loss. So in today's video topic, I kind of wanted to discuss about a hair loss treatment other than the two commonly used and FDA-approved medications, finasteride and Minoxidil. The main active ingredient that I was researching and that I wanted to share with you guys is something called Alfatradiol, and it goes by several brand names, including Pantostine, which has been around for several decades, and it's actually been widely used in Germany for the treatment of androgenetic alopecia for not only men, but also for women. Unfortunately, it never really had the opportunity to make it outside of German and the Latin American market to the US, but there are still people in the US that are still using it by purchasing it online. Alfatradiol is a weak estrogen and a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor that is applied topically on the scalp. There are several studies that look at the efficacy of Alfatradiol for hair loss, and a lot of these studies also incorporate Minoxidil. So one study back in 2007 compared the efficacy and safety of topical Minoxidil and topical Alfatradiol for treatment of androgenetic alopecia in women. So a group of women were using 2% Minoxidil solution twice a day for a whole year, and another group was using 0.025% Alfatradiol solution once daily for 6 months, and then they switched to the 2% Minoxidil for months 7 to 12. The results that show that topical treatment with 2% Minoxidil solution for 6 months resulted in significant increase in cumulative hair thickness and density, whereas these parameters of the hair growth remained nearly unchanged after 6 months of treatment with Alfatradiol solution. Evaluation of the same parameters from months 7 to 12 demonstrated that 12 months Minoxidil treatment resulted in an increasing stabilization, and after the Alfatradiol to Minoxidil switch in the second group, a significant increase in cumulative hair thickness as well as density was achieved. Both study medications were also well tolerated. So basically, the study showed that 2% Minoxidil resulted in increased hair thickness and density when it was compared with Alfatradiol for the first 6 months of treatment, since hair thickness and density for those using topical Alfatradiol remained nearly unchanged. But once Alfatradiol was switched to Minoxidil from month 7 to 12, hair thickness and density was seen. So this doesn't mean that Alfatradiol isn't effective in treating hair loss, or that Minoxidil 2% or even 5% is going to be superior to Alfatradiol, because the two actually work in completely different mechanisms of action. So hair growth was only seen once Minoxidil 2% was introduced into the treatment, since it acts as a vasodilator, and it also helps prolong the anagen phase of the hair cycle, and it also helps increase blood flow to the hair follicles to allow more nutrients and oxygen to flow. Alfatradiol, on the other hand, is not a hair stimulant like Minoxidil. So you're really not going to see much hair growth or increased density as a result. But because it works as a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor that inhibits the conversion of testosterone into DHT, the same way that finasteride and dutasteride work, it's actually going to help stabilize further hair loss. And this is why the study did show that when Alfatradiol was applied on the scalp, it resulted in deceleration or stabilization of hair loss. Unfortunately though, I really couldn't find any studies on Alfatradiol that were used on men. And studies did fail to measure scalp and serum DHT levels before and after using topical Alfatradiol. So in terms of comparing the efficacy in inhibiting DHT with finasteride or dutasteride, I can't really say, but it does seem to point that it is more of a weaker type of 5-alpha reductase inhibitor than finasteride or dutasteride. And obviously more studies would need to be warranted, and also at least include men in the study. But the good thing is that out of all of these studies that I found online on Alfatradiol used for androgenetic alopecia, it does not indicate any systemic side effects. So that leads me to believe that this may be a good alternative for those who are experiencing adverse side effects from finasteride or dutasteride. Now, the other interesting and noteworthy thing about topical Alfatradiol is that because it is a weak estrogen, it is going to result in a reduction in the synthesis of testosterone and DHT, which therefore is going to decrease the levels of testosterone testosterone, which means there's going to be less to convert to DHT. So like I mentioned, it is not approved in the US, but it is approved for the treatment of androgenetic alopecia in Germany. But there's a lot of people that actually go online on eBay. They purchase it for about $130 for 3 bottles of 100 milliliters, which really isn't cheap if you think about it. But if you guys are afraid of getting side effects from other 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, it might be worth a try. You obviously want to stick with 5% minoxidil since 5% has a way better efficacy than 2%. But I really wouldn't recommend this as a standalone treatment since it's not a potent DHT inhibitor like finasteride or dutasteride, but it obviously is better to use this to target the androgen since it is backed up with several studies. And this isn't like some type of experimental drug like RU584 that also hasn't really gone through studies, and we also don't know the long-term effects of such experimental drugs. And given that alfatradiol is a weak estrogen, you don't really have to worry about feminizing effects as it doesn't exhibit estrogen activity or exhibit only very weak activity. But definitely, I think it's worth a try. I also think that it might be more effective in those with mild androgenetic alopecia since it's, like I said, it's not as strong as finasteride, but it's powerful enough to inhibit testosterone from converting into DHT in the early stages of hair loss. And as hair loss progresses, further on, or if it actually accelerates, then I would definitely advocate for using finasteride and even dutasteride, but you obviously would have to speak to your doctor on that. So I kind of just wanted to give you guys, I guess, some other alternatives when it comes to 5-alpha reductase inhibitors other than finasteride or dutasteride, especially for those who are actually experiencing side effects, since alfatradiol seems to be a relatively more safer treatment that inhibits the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. And as we know, one of the main causes of hair loss in men is due to the androgens, particularly DHT. So that's all I have for today, guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope you found this video to be educational. Let me know if you have any experience using alfatradiol and what the outcome was from using it. Also, I'll be doing an update on Follicum's FOL005, their topical solution. We actually got an update a few days ago stating that they are going to start their phase 2A clinical trials for human clinical trials, which is a human protein based off of the peptide osteopontin. So stay tuned for that. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Take care.